नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके। Hare Krishna. We continue the nectar of instruction. I'm going to read the translation, shloka and the translation. We were at shloka 5. Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeti dikshasti chet pranatabis chabhajantam isham sushrushaya bhajana vignam mananyanyandate shunyam hridamipsitas sangalabdaya nindate shunyam hridayipsitas sangalabdya. Translation and purport given by Divine Grace Bhakti and Swamshira Prabhupada. One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna, and one should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation and is engaged in the worship of deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely fixed, completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. Purport. Okay, one should not accept a spiritual master without following his instructions. Nor should one accept a spiritual master just to make a fashionable show of spiritual life. One must be jignasu, very much inquisitive to learn from the bona fide spiritual master. The inquiries one makes should strictly pertain to transcendental science. Jignasu Shreya Uttamam. The word Uttamam refers to that which is above material knowledge. Tama means darkness of this material world. Uttama means transcendental. Generally, people are very interested in inquiring about mundane subject matters. But when one has lost such interest and is simply interested in transcendental subject matter, is quite a fit for being initiated. When one is actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master, when he seriously engages in the service of the Lord, he should be accepted as Madhyama Adhikari. The chanting of the holy names of the Lord, holy names of Krishna is so sublime that if one chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra offenselessly, carefully avoiding 10 offenses, he can certainly be gradually elevated to the point of understanding that there is no difference between the holy name of the Lord and Lord Himself. One who has reached such an understanding should be very much respected by neophyte devotees. One should know for certain that without chanting the holy names of the Lord offenselessly, one cannot be a proper candidate for advancement in Krishna consciousness. In Chaitanya Charitamritam it is said, Yahara Komala Shraddha Se Kanishta Jana Krame Krame Tenha Bhakta Haibe Uttama. One whose faith is soft and pliable is called as a neophyte. But by gradually following the process, he will rise to the platform of first class devotee. Everyone begins his devotional life from the neophyte stage. But if one properly finishes chanting the prescribed number of rounds, he is elevated step by step to the highest platform. Uttamadhikari. The Krishna conscious movement prescribes 16 rounds daily because people in Western countries cannot concentrate for longer periods while chanting on beats. Therefore, minimum rounds is prescribed. However, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that unless one chants at least 64 rounds is considered fallen. According to his calculation, practically every one of us is fallen, but because we are trying to serve the Supreme Lord with all seriousness and without duplicity, we can expect the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is famous as Patit Pavan. When Srila Satyaraj Khan, great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, asked the Lord, How a Vaishnava could be recognized? The Lord replied, Prabhu kahe yandra mukhe suni ek baar, Krishna naam sai puja, shrestha sabakar. If one hears a person say even once the word Krishna, that person should be accepted as the best man out of the common group. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, Teteva yandra mukhe eka Krishna naam, sai tai Vaishnava, kariyatan hara sammana. One who is interested in chanting the holy names of Krishna or who by practice likes to chant Hare Krishna should be accepted as a Vaishnava and offered respects as such at least within one's mind. One of our friends, a famous English musician, has become attracted to chanting the holy names of Krishna, and even in the records he has several times mentioned the holy name of Krishna. At his home, he offers respect to pictures of Krishna and also to preachers of Krishna consciousness. In all regards, he has very high estimation for Krishna's name and Krishna's activities. Therefore, we offer respects to him without reservations. For we are actually seeing that the gentleman is advancing gradually in Krishna consciousness. Such a person should always be shown respect. The conclusion is that anyone who is trying to advance in Krishna consciousness by regularly chanting Hare Krishna, chanting the holy name, should always be respected by Vaishnavas. On the other hand, we have witnessed that some of our contemporaries who are supposed to be great preachers have gradually fallen down into the material conception of life because they have failed to chant the holy names of the Lord. While giving the instruction to Sanatana Goswami, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu divided devotional service into three categories. One second. Okay. We'll continue reading that next week. We discussed about this. We read the same purport before. Okay, we'll continue. मज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकथं मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कम करोति वाचालं पंगं लंघायते गिरिं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणम् So we're discussing about the sloka since a few weeks now. How important is to really understand the process of Krishna consciousness and with what kind of attitude one should actually take up this science. Actually, we don't know life is very limited. If we know that life is very limited, our vision, our perceptions, our taking of the truth, our assessment, our analysis is totally different. Just like Srila Prabhupada uses his example, where he says if a person house is burning, but the person whose house is burning, he doesn't realize that his house is burning. Then the next person who comes and tells him, but the person doesn't understand his language, then he cannot ex- express him that his house is burning. He tells him, but he is understanding that he doesn't understand that the house is burning. So unless and until he gets that understanding, He's always in the complacent state. He will not realize that there's really something going on in his life because he doesn't know what's happening in his life. So likewise, dear devotees, we generally postpone we do not postpone our needs, especially if there is a job opportunity where you'll get a salary of 30K more. We go and immediately apply for that position or role. Same responsibility, everything is same, but the salary is more. When we go and apply, we do apply. We do not waste time stating that, oh, this is not for me. We do immediately apply. Because at that moment you see the result. Because the moment you change your job, you see a salary difference of 30K right away. It is grossly seen, it is visible in your bank account. When things are manifested in such a form and state, it is easy for us to do it. We can actually go ahead and then accomplish that right away. But the science of devotional service is churning of the heart, is changing in the heart. So the science of devotional service is not shown externally. One cannot see, one cannot perceive. So as this is a science where you do not get the benefit right away, we tend to put this away. We tend to keep this on the side track. So when we tend to keep this on the side track, then what happens? Then we do not understand because the priorities are changed. When the priorities and importance are not given, then what happens? Then it's a different ball game. That means the science of devotional service cannot be understood. Because why? Because I always think about this. Why the science of pure devotional service cannot be understood? The science of pure devotional service cannot be understood because the Lord is sitting in our heart, just like we are independent. The person who has given us that independence is also independent. No matter our independence is limited, for sure our independence is limited. Because whatever we think doesn't manifest right away. We can see that. We know that something is working on me. There's something, some person is acting on me. You can really see that. So the moment we see that, we understand not every desire is fulfilled. Only certain things are fulfilled, not everything. Why everything is not fulfilled in one's life? Because we are limited. Likewise, through our limited intelligence, we only tend to aspire for limited happiness. Because as we are limited, our vision to take the truth is also limited, or the vision to become happy in this world is also limited. That is also one of the core reasons why we do not aspire for unlimited, because we are limited. But the moment when the moment when we hear the truth, wherein this shloka, Srila Prabhupada is explaining about an episode from Chaitanya Charitamritam, where he says that Satyaraj Khan asks Lord Chaitanya, who is a Vaishnav, Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving different levels of seeing a Vaishnava. Whoever at least chants once Hare Krishna mantra, he should be treated or given respect among the common people. That means when there are common people, we should give the person who chants Hare Krishna once more priority than others. That means the respect has to be given more. So, at every level, when we see how are we perceiving things in this world? It is only through their words or through their instructions. See, all our life, what we did, some way, shape, or form, we're always given something, dear devotees. Right since our childhood, we learned ABCD, we learned 1, 2, 3, we learned how to frame the words, how to speak, how to read, how to understand, how to do calculations. So many things we did actually. And all these things, we went to school for training, this, that, so many other things. That means at every moment, there's always a person who's inspiring us, who's teaching us. That means eventually when you get a job, when we received a job, or eventually for someone who will get a job in the future, for them, not just the job which he gets, but actually to get the job, there are so many people behind him, like his parents, his teachers. They selflessly worked. Our parents worked for us. Today we are here in this state means our parents did work for us. Our teachers worked for us. Today we are eating rice dal sabji means the farmers they are working in the background for us. There's so many people who are working in the background and then who are bringing that food to us. And then now we cook it and then offer it to the Lord and then honor the prasad. That means that there's so many things going on in the background. That means not just we should see the thing which is there in the front, but we should also see what it is there in the background. Now, the moment we see what it is there in the background, then we understand that we feel indebted. Then profuse gratitude comes into our heart. Yes, everything is being given to me. The intelligence has been given to me by the Lord. This body is given to me by the Lord. Lord has arranged the parents. They helped me in my life. So at every step we see that so many people are helping us. Likewise, when we come to the process of Krishna consciousness, eventually, then what happens? Then we understand that this is also given to me. So the moment we understand that, then our vision changes, dear devotees. Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that tapasya, which we are discussing since few days, right? Tapasya is something profound. It is not like you hear from someone and then immediately we took it up. No, some will do that because through their past life sukriti, through their practice of Krishna consciousness prior, or through this eagerness to take the process, and especially the most important, they feel the relationship. And then through that relationship, they immediately take up the process and then they continue, they move forward. Just like slowly, when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, eventually we build the faith, Shraddha, in the process of hearing, a process of chanting. And we do that every day, daily. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Satyaraj Khan, when he asks Lord Chaitanya again, who is a Vaishnava, then he says, whoever chants Hare Krishna regularly, and then who develops this faith on the scriptures, and then is completely devoid of this material propensity, and then is fixed up in the science of Krishna consciousness, that person is fit to be initiated, and then that person is in the state of Madhyama. And that person should be respected. Here, the respect is not among the common people. Here, the respect is even more deeper. That means even the respect towards the other person we learn, which is very important. If we do not know how to respect our superiors, if we do not know how to respect our parents, then we really do not understand. That means every instruction which we hear, which we learn from the scriptures, they are meant to be applied in our life. Just like the person we discussed, right? His house is burning, but he doesn't understand. Because the person who is speaking to him, he knows that he doesn't understand. Likewise, our superiors, they understand that we are not yet understood. We are not understanding the process yet. Because the moment we understand the process, our way, our see, our vision is totally different. Because they know how we are not understanding it. Because here, the respect, and then there is another level. Just by seeing that person, the other person is inspired to chant. Just by hearing from him, the other person is inspired to practice. He is Uttama. He is Uttamadi, pure soul. And then it is being said one should never avoid taking that association. Rather, one should develop deep relationship with them. Deeper, we should be convinced that yes, as a bona fide person, should accept the truth. We should understand the truth. We should follow his instructions and then move forward. Because why the scriptures are telling one should follow his instructions? Because he's in the plane of selflessness. Slowly, what is preaching? What is the process of preaching? What is the process of understanding the truth? What is this preaching all about? Preaching is all about to make the person from selfish state to selflessness. Slowly, if our consciousness is being transformed from selfishness to selflessness, then the person who is preaching to that person is doing some good work. That's all we need to do actually. That's all a sadhaka has to aspire. But for that to happen, the person who is preaching has to be selfless. So here the discussion is, whoever is selfless, that's what he will give. If he is on the selfless plane, he will give selflessness, because in selflessness there is so much happiness. Selflessness is not limited happiness, dear devotees. Selflessness is unlimited happiness. Through that unlimited happiness also, only they become free from this sense gratification. So sense gratification is not an easy thing to give up. But it is only through the qualities, it is only through the mercy of the acharyas one can come out of it. So slowly but steadily through the process of preaching, what they give is they give us that consciousness, they give us that attitude. No, 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 no. Selfishness doesn't work. Selflessness do work. Suta Goswami's father, Ramaharsha, was offensive towards Vaishnavas. So Balramji will cut off that offense by devouring him. That means it doesn't matter in which state we are, Uttama, Madhyama, Kanishta, doesn't matter. If you are offensive, then there is no hope or scope in one's life. The offensive mentality doesn't yield or it doesn't generate any good results. Because offensive means what? Aparada. We discussed, right? The Tampa. What are the two things one should aspire for? Aradhana. What the two things? Two things means what one should do and what one shouldn't do. One should aspire, one should do is Aradhana, one shouldn't do is Aparadha. Aradhana comes with respect, which is what Satyaraj Khan is asking Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately says, at least once chanting Hare Krishna, just see here. Who is once chanting Hare Krishna is not even in the state of neophyte, is not even neophyte, it's just in coming. That person also one should be given respect within the heart, not externally, within the heart. Among the common people means general public. The general public who do not have awareness, who do not have heard Krishna's name. From them, the person who has heard Krishna's name, he should be given respect. That means whoever comes in the association of devotees, he should be respected. Because he heard Krishna's name once. No, we cannot just go and then fall at their feet and then say that, oh, I respect you so much. That's overdoing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not recommend that. Shouldn't overdo. You should give respect based on Guru Sadhu Shastra, whatever our scriptures are telling. And then the next level of respect is what? Actually, that person is in the neophyte state. Should respect him. The heart and heart. Within the heart. Very important. And then the next level. So what is this? What is this devotee? What is this dear devotees? There are different gradations of giving respect also. So eventually, when we understand that, we are free from Tattva Brahma. What is this Tattva Brahma? Tattva Brahma is the illusion from the truth. See, when we do not understand the truth correctly, then it takes us into delusion. For example, a jiva cannot become Lord. Lord is always Lord. And jiva, no matter what he does, he's always a jiva. That means jiva never becomes something which he is not. That means a wrong notion of understanding the truth is that I chant Hare Krishna, that someday I become God. No, jiva cannot become that. I chant Hare Krishna, someday I become rich. That is not the intention of chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Now I chant Hare Krishna, I get this, I get that. Fruitive, that is also not the intention of chanting Hare Krishna. Now I chant Hare Krishna, my dear Lord, please put him down. My dear Lord, he is not good. I curse him. That is also not the intention of chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. I'm just giving an example. Tattva Brahma is a different states. One cannot haphazardly imagine that I am this. And then the Jiva Tattva can never become Vishnu Tattva. Please understand. The Jiva is always Jiva. Amayavamsu Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Manashashtindriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshiti. Krishna is personally telling in Gita that, my dear Arjuna, you are all part and parcel of me. Now, why Krishna is assuring Arjuna that you are part and parcel of me? Because Krishna wanted to convince, Krishna wanted to give that absolute truth through Arjuna to all of us. Because Krishna knows there's a lot of devotees, a lot of my children will come to me through bewilderment in this world, through confusion, complacency in this world. They come and then try to take this truth. Because what is this world here about? It's complete delusion. We don't know why one country has a battle with another country. We don't know why everyone is running behind so many unwanted things. Even if we go and ask them, why are you running behind this? They have no answer for that.
You always hear all the doctors and all the health people tell you any packaged food, anything that is not packaged is not good for you.
So it is in complete illusion.
It is prepared with a long shelf life. And when
Hare
that
Krishna,
is
Ramapan Prabhu, you're speaking, you're on mute. Can you unmute? So this thing is always there. State of illusion. We have no idea why things are happening like this. Now, a person who committed a crime, he was being interviewed after that. Stating what? Why you committed this sinful activity? And then he said, I have no idea. I just did it. At that moment, I don't know what I was doing. I just did it. Now, when we hear that, it's a clear indication that there's so much going on in this world that nobody has a clue what's happening. Even though no one has clue what's happening, still the Lord is present with that particular person. While doing that sinful activity, the Lord was also there with him. That means even though we are completely away or ignorant or completely baffled up in this world, completely out of our state, still the Lord is sitting with us. He expands himself. Individual Paramatma. He comes. He comes and then ready to give individual association. Even though we do not aspire for that, even though we do not, even though we do not hanker for that or want for that, still he is there. Do we ever think that while chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, my dear Lord, you are there next to me? You are there in the heart as Paramatma also. You have given me, you have sent all so many representatives so that I can take up this process nicely. Still, we do not hear the names properly. Still, we do not aspire for that consciousness. Please, my dear Lord, please help me. Very important. The Lord is sitting next to us. He is hearing our every word. He's there. Acharyas are assuring us. Srila Prabhupada's words, his instructions are so instructive, are so touchy to the heart, and whatever he writes, it's a great hope and shelter for us to understand. The Gita, which is spoken by the Lord, is easily understood by the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, by the purports of Srila Prabhupada. If purports of Srila Prabhupada were not there, then the understanding is not there. If his pure followers are not there, then there is no scope of knowing it. I always perceive like this because that is a fact actually. Because there's so many people in this world reading Gita, hearing different commentaries. Why people hear different commentaries? Because people are not convinced with one commentary. That's the reason. And people are not fixed up. That's also the reason. And people are in dilemma after reading one commentary. That's why they jump onto the other commentary. Because they do not get what's been there in that. So as the consciousness is not fixed upon that, we don't know how to perceive it. Please understand, it's very important. If the consciousness is fixed upon that, we can easily perceive that. We can easily understand what has to be done, what not has to be done. But if the consciousness is not fixed up, then they change from one commentary to the other commentary, the other commentary to the other commentary, and then whatever pleases their heart, they just follow that. But we don't know whatever is pleasing their heart is the real pleasing of the Lord. That only Acharya can tell. And that is what Srila Prabhupada is giving. Please try to understand. There's so much chaos going on in this world. In the midst of all those chaotic condition, to understand the truth as is not easy. For this, we require very strong association. And that association should be from the disciplic succession. Avaroha Pantha, deductive knowledge, authorized. Do we see that we discussing different commentaries? Oh, this person has given this commentary. Let us read this. Or this person has given commentary. Let us read that. Or this is Ramakrishna. This some other person. Or this is so and so XX person. He has also written Gita. Or this person, he has also written Gita. This is what he's telling. Oh, this is a nice point. This is a nice point to assess. Don't discuss like that. A Jnani would discuss like that. Because his consciousness is not fixed up on one thing. That's why if you see the words of Srila Prabhupada, when he says that work in Krishna consciousness is also bhakti. That means the karma yoga is also connecting karma yoga to devotional service. Now, how is that? How is that work in Krishna consciousness is connected to bhakti? How is that manifested? Because the heart and heart, the aspiration is what? The aspiration is to please Krishna. He's doing an action, but his action is not independent of Krishna. His action is dependent on Krishna. His action is doing for the pleasure of Krishna. As that action is done for the pleasure of the Lord, by depending on the Lord, That is naturally bhakti. Because today or tomorrow you'll become a lover of the Lord. You'll become a beloved of the Lord. So that is the key, dear devotees. If we understand this, knowingly or unknowingly, our state of consciousness is changed. No doubt we have anarthas, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsara. There are 6 unwanted things are there. If we take their association, we are that. If we do not take their association, we are not that. Ah, is it that easy to not take their association? Because the moment we are engaged in this material world, we are in that association. We are actually engaged in that world. That's why we cannot give that up, because our goals and aspirations are different. Because as I said at the beginning of our discussion, limited happiness in this world or limited consciousness, not limited happiness, limited perceptions in this world do not yield unlimited happiness. Why? Because limited perceptions only aspire for limited things. But Guru Sadhu Shastra, what they do is they open up that consciousness and then they give that unlimited thing. Tattva Brahma is what? Tattva Brahma is bafflement, thinking that we are something, thinking that we are something more than this Jiva. We are just a Jiva Tattva actually. We are part and parcel of the Lord. We are not the Lord. Now, a servant can never become a master. Servant is always a servant. Do we see servant ever becoming master? No. Now, in the material world, the servant will aspire to become a master. For example, if person began as an entry-level engineer, and then slowly, he wants to become principal engineer or senior engineer or this, that, engineer 2, engineer 3, senior principal, and then eventually next. Then he wants to become, go, move forward. That means what is happening? He joined as a servant. He wants to become a master, thinking that by becoming master he'll be happy. Because through that entry level engineer he is not happy. Because he's thinking that if I get that he'll be happy. This is Brahma. This is called as illusion, Tattva Brahma. State of illusion. What is the state of illusion? Completely showing us that whatever we have, that will not give happiness. Something else will give happiness, will give me happiness. Through that something else, I will aspire for this. That so-called something else will never give happiness, dear devotees. But through illusion, the conditioned soul is always thinking that this will give me happiness, or that will give me happiness, or respect will give me, or if people are respecting me, then that will give me happiness. Or if people accept me as a devotee, that will give me happiness. Or if you think me like this way, in that way, that will give me happiness. This is called as Brahma, illusion. So this illusion will never give satisfaction to the heart. Because Amsha, Anu can never become Vibhu. Anu is limited. He can never become unlimited. That means Anu is always Anu. But that Anu, by the mercy of Vibhu, he gets unlimited happiness. Please understand this. The same Anu, which is Amsha, which is part and parcel of the Lord, That same part and parcel of the Lord can get unlimited happiness by the mercy of the unlimited person. Just like a father, if he's a millionaire, then his son is also a millionaire. Because his father is millionaire. No, son did not do anything. He was just born to that parent, that father who's a millionaire. Likewise, the Lord is all powerful, all attractive, is the source of everything. That person is our source. That means whatever he is, we are that through his mercy. Please understand this. That doesn't mean that the son will become father. No. Son is always son. And father is always father. So that Anu, that part and parcel of the Lord, he should understand that I'm just part and parcel of the Lord. I'm just Jiva. I'm not the whole. He is the whole. I'm just Jiva. And then this Jiva will never, we should never think that, oh, one day I'll chant Hare Krishna and I'll become Lord. No, no. Become the servant of the Lord. We cannot become the Lord. So these things which we should always meditate. Because you're devotees, there's so many, when you see, we are actually impacted through this world. I'll tell how we are impacted also. Morning when we hear the truth, that yes, oh, this is this is really true. This is what we are. And by the time it is afternoon, our perception or vision is different, changed. Why? Because we are impacted to this material world. We are connected to this material world. In the material world, everyone shows that yes, this is a place to enjoy. This is a place for doing this, for doing that, for doing unlimited things. And then eventually, doing that unlimited things, we get happiness. And you are the controller, you are the doer, you are the maintainer. But we are not actually the controller. We can't even control our bowels. If we have to pass urine, we have to go and pass urine. We cannot hold on to it. Cannot hold. But still, this material nature shows us that we are the controllers. We also feel that. Because when the moment we take association means what? To get inspired. The moment we are inspired to that, what happens? Then eventually we feel that, oh, I'm the controller. But the more we understand the truth and the intricacies behind it, then we are not bewildered. Actually, if you see, everything is driving through consciousness only. The moment you get up in the morning, the consciousness says, please get up. Then we get up. But if our desires and our mind says, no, 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 that's okay, sleep for some time, then we sleep. Now, who is telling? Is this body who's telling? Or is the consciousness who's telling? So there's a battle between the mind and the intelligence. That's why our Acharya says mind and intelligence should be married. Whose intelligence should be married to whose mind? The intelligence which is bathed in Guru Sadhu Shastra, that intelligence should be married to mind. That means technically what is happening? Whatever the intelligence says, mind has to follow that. That is marrying. But there's always a struggle, there's always a battle between the mind and the intelligence in a practical way. We see that. Because all of a sudden we are happy, but all of a sudden we become angry. All of a sudden we become lusty. We have unlimited desires. All of a sudden they manifest from the heart. What is that? This is a mind. Because mind has seen those traces in our consciousness before. Through the traces, what the mind is doing, what the mind is telling or preaching us, that you do this, you'll be happy. That's what we took the example, right? There's a 30K salary more. Then the mind immediately says, jumps onto it, just do it. Because if you have more money, you can have a better standard of life. Just do it. That's what mind says. Because mind has seen through different peoples in that state. And as mind has seen through us, through our life also. That if I do this, I'll be happy. That's why the mind will preach us. That's why the mind will preach to the intelligence. No, 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 you should do this. And the moment the intelligence becomes weak, how the intelligence becomes weak after the preaching of mind? Because the intelligence is not fully absorbed, is not fully bathed in Guru Sadhu Shastra. As the intelligence is not that strong, then the intelligence, just like the entire world is happening like this today. What is happening? Whatever wife says, husband follows. He just follows. He just does that because he has no option. But technically, vice versa, it should be in the opposite way. Oh, whatever husband does, wife should follow. But no, that is not there. As recently, it is a very good example. Recently, a devotee was doing a service, and then immediately the other person was asking, is your wife okay to that? Why? Because everyone knows that they do not accept that. So, dear devotees, it's important. The mind is very tricky. That's why if you see acharyas, they have so many poems on the mind. They've written unlimited bhajans. They contemplated this more and more. They assessed this more and more. And one of that assessment spiritual master tells about is Tattva Brahma. This Tattva Brahma is actually coming from mind only. It will actually slacken our consciousness because it will always show us that we are something which we are not. We are only an amsha, nothing else other than that. Please do not expect more from us. We are just a jiva. We are part of Jiva Tattva. We have 50 qualities that are also very limited. Brahmaji has full 50 qualities. He's the epitome of Jiva Tattva. We are just fragment in that. That's why sometimes we feel as a devotee. Sometimes we don't feel as a devotee. Sometimes we think that we are Uttama. Sometimes we think that we are Adama. Huh? Why these things are there? Abu Dabu. Sometimes this, sometimes that. Because it's in Tattva Brahma. It's an illusory state. In an illusory state, we think that, oh, I've been practicing since 1950, or let 1950 is too. Let's say I've been practicing since 2000, 20 years. But still sense gratificatory desires are there. Means, what is that? That means at one moment, we feel ourselves as devotee, but at the other moment, we engage in sense gratification. This is Brahma. This is illusion. Because the jiva is always thinking that we are something. We are neither any of those things. We're just part and parcel of the Lord. The moment we understand that we are part and parcel of the Lord, then we just accept with what we are. We need to just accept. Just like Arjuna accepted. Karishya Vachanam Tava, my dear Lord. This is actually the epitome of success in one's life. What is the epitome of success in one's life? Not that we become a big engineer. The epitome of success in life is what? Accepting whatever the Lord is giving us in our life. That is epitome. Arjuna says, my dear Lord, whatever you say, I'll do it. This is the outcome. That means this is what is happening. The moment a person comes and tells that your house is burning, he will immediately react. Then the person would know, oh, yaar, he understood. Until that point is established, they will continue to give us association, association, association. It's not easy, it's difficult. Because Jiva is so rebellious. Jiva is thinking that he's something. Because that's what the mind is telling him. The mind will always be, the mind will always convince him. So you have this, that, so many other things. Be happy with all of these things. See, you're the controller. Whatever you say, your wife is hearing. Whatever you say, your husband is hearing. You're the controller. Yeah, whatever you say, your children are also hearing. Or your manager is also hearing at office. You're the controller. So it's always like this. The mind will baffle us. One day you chant Hare Krishna nicely, the mind will tell, ah, you are a devotee. Hare Krishna. One day, Prabhu, forget about one day, one mala. One mala, if you chant Hare Krishna nicely, you heard nicely, then it will tell, oh, abhi bhakt ban gaye. Now you are a devotee. That's what the mind will tell. It will fool us. We are already fooled, actually, in this material world. The moment we are running behind with all these things of this world, we are fooled, actually. The so-called things of this world. They have no existence, actually. You see how, you see in how deep illusion we are? The moment we leave this body, we leave everything behind. Everything. सब कुछ छोड़ देते हैं. But still we hold on to so many things. And we think about that during chanting also, Prabhu. We think about them. So sad, actually. This is called as Brahma, illusion. It's not easy to come out of illusion. Continuous absorption has to be there. Continuously we should take association. Otherwise, it's difficult. That's why everything we need to learn from the scriptures, through the Vani, through the Vaishnava, we should learn from them. It's very important. Otherwise, there's so much bafflement. We are bounded in this world. So it's a difficult state, dear devotee. It's not an easy state. That's why the Shastra keep repeating us again and again that whatever you're doing is incorrect, whatever you're doing is incorrect. That is true, actually. For example, if the moment Krishna told that what Arjuna, whatever you are doing is incorrect, if Arjuna rebounded stating that no, Krishna, whatever you are telling is incorrect, then the Bhagavad Gita wouldn't have been there. Please understand, Arjuna did not rebound to that. The moment he submitted himself, there is no arguments after that. He accepted. This is a medicine for Tattva Brahma. This is a solution for that. Because, as Srila Prabhupada was also mentioning, right, in the purport, he was explaining that when we continuously churn the process of hearing and chanting, when we do chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, when we hear And what happens slowly but steady will advance. That means how is that advancement happening? Tattva Brahma is removed. The state of illusion is removed. We always think that we are something actually. Other than the servant of the servant of the servant of the Gopi Bhartar Padakamla Das, this is the original state. But we think something else other than this. That is Brahma. That is illusion. That illusion is the greatest obstruction in one's life, in a sadhaka's life. This we should always check the core of our heart. Very, very important. Hare Krishna. So we'll stop here. If anyone has any questions, any clarity, we'll continue. Otherwise, we'll stop it here. Anyone has any questions? Would like to add anything? Tattva Brahma is very, very deep science, state of illusion. Very deep science. It always keeps us in a complacent state, difficult state. Doesn't allow us to come to that state because it shows us something. And then through that something, it also shows us the results also. See, you acted on this, you got this. Now you act on this, you'll get something else. The mind will also show the results. See, you did this particular action, you got this result. Now you do this, you'll get something else. See, before you did this, you got happiness. It will also show you the experience of happiness. Illusion is so deep that if the mind will show, see, that day you did that, you got happiness. Oh, they say that there is no happiness, but there is happiness. Who is telling there is no happiness in sense gratification? No, there is happiness. It will show that experience also. Then it will tell, see, you got that happiness, now you try another time. You'll get more happiness. This is illusion. That means the material nature will give little happiness. For example, you got a new home. When the material nature says, you see, such a beautiful home, you'll be happy. Now, after a few years, it will tell, get another home. What is it trying to do? What is the material nature trying to do? It is trying to bound us in this world. It will tell you, get another home. But you'll be happy because the first time, weren't you happy? You are happy. Now get another one. You'll be happy. It will preach. Through this preaching, what is happening? Mameva Amsa is forgotten. That Amsa is forgotten. That I'm part and parcel of the Lord is forgotten. Just like a person, he received some water in the desert through an oasis, some water. And then he's continuing his journey, thinking that he'll get water more. And then the mind will also convince him. You see, you got water before, now you'll get more water. There's one more oasis there. Go. And then that's how it will keep us in this material world. Please understand. Nobody is forcefully kept here. No one can forcefully keep the other person their devotees. It's through an illusion. We've been kept here. The material nature says, no, you have to rot here. We cannot accept that condition. That's why what material nature will give? It will give some little happiness. Thoda dega. It will give little. Through that little thing, what happens? We feel that, oh, we are sheltered and protected here. That's so we stay here. You see, every living entity, it thinks that is a controller. You take any living entity. Even though it is rotting there, it will think that is a controller. It's a great illusion, actually. If somebody is not giving us respect, then we feel dejected. If someone is not happy with us, we feel dejected. Why? Why these things are coming? Because we're thinking, we are expecting something. That person has to be like this person has to be like that. My husband should hear me, my wife should hear me, my children should hear me. Arey, this is a very difficult state actually. Actually, there is a more to discuss on this. Please understand this very intricate science. It's very important. Entire material nature is running on this only. Complete illusion. Now the president of the country is fixed. Is convinced that he's the president of that. Even though he has to leave after a few years, he doesn't realize that. He's convinced him that. And then through that conviction only, he does everything. Because if he's not convinced, he cannot give justification to that. So the material nature keeps the conditions all in that state. Through that conditioning, he's convinced that I am that, and then he does that. Through that conditioning, he's convinced that he's a husband, and then he does that. Through that husband, he feels that he's a controller, and then he's trying to control everything. The president of a nation is controlling his country. Some other person is controlling something else. The husband is controlling the family. So everyone is controlling some shape or form. Through that controlling mentality, he is forgetting his real identity, the natural state. That is the problem in this world. That's why that tattva has to be learned thoroughly, perfectly. The absolute truth has to be learned. If that absolute truth is not heard completely, then what happens is Brahma will come, illusion. Thinking that I'm this, I'm that, so many other things. Through that thought process, we cannot submit ourselves. Arjuna had illusion, but he submitted to the Lord. His illusion was dissipated. No, they had challenges before also. What do you think Pandavas had challenges before? Yes, they had challenges before. But what did they did for those challenges? They were always taking shelter, but this is the greatest calamity. Killing all of his family members. Then he's forgetting all of his things because he's in a perplexed state. He didn't know what to do. He says that, my dear Lord, I cannot accept this. My heart is not accepting. Because he has no itcha, he has no desire to have something which is devoid of all of these things. That's why he submitted himself. But the illusory state doesn't allow us to submit in that state. Because it will show us our attachments. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will show us that we are the controllers. Because it will We are the controllers, dear devotees. That's why sadhaka never submits. Because sadhaka is convinced that he's a controller. Because he has his own plans in this world. When Guru Sadhu Shastra are giving a plan to us, but the sadhaka has his own plans. Because he doesn't want to leave that controllership. That's the problem actually. Through that controllership, only sense gratification comes. Sense gratification is just an external manifestation we read about it. But the core desire is what? Is to control. The husband is convinced that he's husband. The wife is convinced that she's a wife. But before that, what are we? We're part and parcel of that. That we are forgetting. That's why when we forget the root, then we catch hold of the secondary thing. When the primary thing is forgotten, we catch hold of the secondary thing. That is the state. Hare Krishna. Thank you. I'll stop here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, then Pranam goes to Shurapan. Thank you for the wonderful lecture, Prabhuji. Thank you for the wonderful bhajan by Silas, Prabhuji. Is there anyone else that would like to say anything before I do the Prem Dabani?
Yes, Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so very much for giving us all these wonderful instructions and, helping us and guiding us each day. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble Prabhupada. Thank you for touching on the point of controllership, Prabhuji, ownership or illusion, where we think we are the controller, out of which where we think we are the controller. If anything that we think of is not happening, then the anger, expectation, out of expectation, because if we think we are the controller, we would expect something to happen, and if that expectation wouldn't happen, then anger, from anger, obviously, all the sadness and so forth, and karma as well from the other person. So should always at that point should check the consciousness if it is as per guru's instruction, and act accordingly. So for that we need to continuously listen. Shravana. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so very much for reminding every day. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, and Pranam. All
Yes,
good.
Subhaprabhu.
Sorry, Prabhuji, go ahead.
No, please tell, please tell.
Yeah, wonderfully explained, Prabhuji, about the controlship. We often responsibility, and we think that we are the controllers. Of course, we are very minute controllers. But Prabhuji, at the same time, we have this responsibility, right, Prabhuji, on our kids, on our family. We want them to be in Krishna consciousness as well. So we strive and we want them to be excel in the studies, to whatever possible, right, Prabhuji? So that is okay, Prabhuji, or how should we understand that?
Actually, when we do any activity, Prabhu, if that activity is not giving priority to practice Krishna consciousness, then that activity has to be omitted. For example, if the child is unable to practice the process of Krishna consciousness because he's busy doing so many other things, then that busy in so many other things should be avoided. Because if that busy, which is actually taking him away from the process of Krishna consciousness, then that is not congenial. The primary focus should be Krishna consciousness. And if the children are not taking it, we should try to find ways and means so that they take it. So that they hear, they understand, they know, they discuss with the parents, they apply the truth. Because this, because dear devotees, what happens is, I've seen so many families with the children up until 6th, 7th grade is okay. But the moment they begin going into the middle school and high school, I don't know what's the gradations, 8th, 9th, 10th, 12th, that is where they change a lot. Because what is happening is they are pulled by the material nature. Because they are exposed at that time more and more, especially in their college days. So in their independence increases. Through that independence, what happens? The dependency is forgotten. So we should always see what best can be done. So if you are aspiring for more things in the material world, then that's actually a way of poisoning them. Because what is our aspiration is what we get from, for sure. For example, if a person is going in the desert, his desire is what? His desire is to get some water. The moment he sees a person, he says that person tells him, you know what, you'll not get water here. You need to go to the city, you'll get water there. If he hears that and then he goes to the city, then his hunger is satisfied. But when the person came and told him that at the city you'll get the water, but now the person who is thirsty, he's seeing another religion here. He's seeing an illusion far away from here, thinking that there is water there. No, he's seeing, but there is no water there. But he feels that there is water. Through that illusion, what he does is he will avoid the instruction of this person and then he goes there. Through that going, what happens? First thing is he ignored the person who came and told him. The person is experienced, he knows, but he ignored. Ignored first thing, and then second thing, what he does, he takes what his consciousness is telling. Arjuna did not do this, but he did it. Then he goes what? He goes where? He goes into deeper illusion. Again he tries. Again he tries. This is how this material world is working. So if we give our children simple things, Prabhu, where they can lead a simple life, then definitely there is a chance of taking Krishna consciousness. But if we aspire for big things for our children, which generally every parent will aspire, but that aspiration will not help them in a positive way. Actually, we should give them some free time. So many assignments, so much this, that, so much education. Because they go in like big school districts, there are a lot of expectations. That's where we are. So I always feel that there's always a struggle here. So it again depends on what desires we want. If we really want our son to practice pure devotional service, then his vision has to be changed. You cannot take both of these things simultaneously. That means he should take. That means that devotee children do not study, they study. Definitely they will study. But we shouldn't force them. Krishna consciousness cannot be given through force. I know so many children, they practice Krishna consciousness, but after 10th, 12th grade, they don't. Why? Because they do not have time. They do not also feel, they do not also get that inspiration to take it. That's a very sad thing. But we should make some moves. We should make some moves. We should see what best can be given to our children. According to that, we should make a move. We were discussing, right, at your home, that you said, you want to take your children to Allah. So you should make that move, The sooner the better for them. If we put actions on that, Prabhu, then Krishna will definitely give inspiration. And they might not do big jobs. They might do some normal jobs which they can sustain themselves. I always feel this, Prabhu. Only engineers and doctors do not sustain. So many other professions also sustain. And we are not here to make a great thing out of it. I will see that my children, first priority is Krishna consciousness. They study, they do not study, that's okay. That's okay. So, Hare Krishna is Prabhu, this is another thing I'll tell. The controllership is so deep that we want to ensure that they become that. There's so many living entities, they're just leading a simple life. And we are not completely putting them in a zone which is away. No, we are not doing that. We are giving them Krishna consciousness, but we are also teaching them about the dualities of this material world, this material nature. They will understand. And rather, when they become Krishna conscious, they study more, Prabhu. They study nicely because they are happy with the heart. Whatever they're supposed to be, they'll get it, Prabhu. We don't have to worry too much. For example, if they are materially, they're not that strong. They're not studying well, that's okay. But if they're practicing, that's great. Be happy. But on the other side, if they're very strong materially, but they're not practicing, that's a problem. It's a problem. Now we can say this also. Let us leave them for a few years. They get absorbed, they get settled in this world. And then they get a great job. Then they will practice Krishna consciousness. Risking actually. It is a risk. So we should aspire. What we want to do, we want to make some moves according to that. Because telling is one thing, doing is another thing. We should aspire for that. So the more we hanker for that, the more we get it. So when I first came to Pittsburgh, when I first started practicing Krishna consciousness was observing all these children in the moment. Then I was just kind of feeling, Arey, just now they're hearing, but after a few years I saw they're not coming. Oh, I couldn't understand why they were not coming, but later on I found out the reason that they were so busy in their education. And then now they don't even come. Why? They might come in the future, but now it's gone. So, dear devotees, please. Couple of days back, I put a note also in the group. The time is running out for every one of us. Whatever our priorities is, we should see that those priorities are rightly being taken care. Very, very important. Very important. Naturally, you will actually see kids will have some qualities, Prabhu. Your sons, they have qualities, they have good qualities. We should fan those qualities. Through those qualities, they'll take up the process of Krishna consciousness. Then naturally, they are also study. Should give them that environment. But our focus should be this. Primary should be Krishna consciousness. Then education. Education will come. They'll study also. So that we need to aspire. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. We give Krishna consciousness, which is the root for everything. Everything will automatically manifest. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Amen.
Hare Krishna, Pranam, Agwes, Shilabad. Is it okay if I can recite the Burn Divani now, or what?
Hare
Anybody?
Krishna. Karina, how are you doing? You have any question?
No, thank you, Prabhuji. I'm very good. Thank you for the wonderful lecture I learned.
Sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm hearing.
Hare Krishna, Pranam. Thank you for the wonderful lecture, Prabhuji. I really enjoyed it. I don't have any questions, but I know I learned a lot, so I'm very thankful and grateful for your lecture, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.